The chapter opens with the sound of hammering at the ordnance cell, the government office responsible for manufacturing weapons. Crown Prince Hyun arrives, pleased by the smell of iron, and decides to visit the office frequently to pursue his hobbies, crafting modern items. The supervisor, Lee Chung-ho, greets the Crown Prince, who praises their hard work for strengthening Joseon's defenses. Hyung then asks for the best craftsman at handling gold and iron. A smith is presented, and Hyung immediately shows him great respect, refusing to call him lowly and emphasizing the importance of his work for Joseon's defenses. He then asks the craftsman if he can make a substitute for a brush. The design is a modern fountain pen nib. Hyung specifies the requirements for the craftsman. The nib needs to be made of gold and silver to prevent rust from contact with water or ink. It should be made by pounding thin plates. If a proper mold is created, they can produce 20 pieces a day. The most challenging part will be creating the slit in the nib. The stroke thickness for writing should be around 1 ri, approximately 0.3 millimeters, similar to a 0.5 millimeter mechanical pencil lead. The craftsman tentatively estimates 2 days for a test piece, but Hyung grants him 3 days to show his best results, a subtle display of princely grace and authority. 3 days later, the craftsman presents nibs with 5 different thicknesses. Hyung tests them and is delighted with the result, sincerely complimenting the craftsman's hard work. The craftsman humbly credits the Crown Prince's teaching. Hyung then orders 100 pens of the chosen thickness, with 10 of them requiring special care. He also requests that plum blossoms be engraved on the gold pen body. For the final order, the craftsman estimates 10 days, but Hyung adds 2 extra days, demanding in return that there must not be a single defective product as he plans to present them to the king. He also stresses that the project must be kept a secret. The craftsman and his associates are astonished by the Crown Prince's maturity, noting that his speech and actions are like those of an adult in his 30s, despite him being only 8 years old. The craftsman is elated to receive the greatest craftsman of Joseon title from the Crown Prince, cherishing the prototype pen as a future heirloom. On December 10th, Year 3 of Sejong, the gold pens are presented to the king. The king is immediately complimentary, finding the pens extremely comfortable for quick writing. He notices the plum blossom engravings, which Hyung explains are suitable symbols of the royal family. The king then asks the crucial question, how Hyung conceived of the item. Hyung explains that he was inspired by watching ink climb between the brush hairs when the king was wetting his ink. He points out that this phenomenon defied the natural flow of water and fascinated him, leading him to create the pen. The king highly praises the Crown Prince's intelligence, calling him a prime example of acquiring knowledge through experience. Seizing the moment, Hyung makes his request to distribute the gold pens to the historians and government officials. He argues that since the historians' task of recording is so daunting and they work without rest, they need something to help them. The king, highly impressed by Hyung's thoughtful consideration for his subjects, immediately approves the request. The ministers echo the king's praise, finding the scene beautiful because the young man thought so much of his subjects. The king concludes by ordering the servants to share the gold pens, and the palace staff admiring the Crown Prince's deep-thinking nature.